Hi there. I'm going to make this alive instead of some stories because I want a little more space for us today. This is a video in partnership with the Akashic energy about coming into the center point of this year. So we're coming to the end of May and we're about to travel into the halfway point. And so this is a moment to really stop and feel what the first several months of this year have been about and how they're feeling as we come into the other half of the year. And so we're going to take a little space to do that. I'm not going to make this too long because I really want this to feel realistic to drop into. But I want you to just close your eyes here. Relax the pelvis. Relax the shoulders. Just kind of loosen the body. What has this year felt like? Notice if you're getting a word, a sensation, or an image. What has the first several months of the year felt like? What has 2025 felt like for you? If you were to have a conversation and a catch-up call with someone you haven't talked to all year, and you were to move out of autopilot and really drop in and share what's most alive about this year with your friend, someone that you'd feel comfortable sharing in a real way about, what has this year been like? Just let that come up and share it with yourself. Beautiful. And when something has come up, breathe it in, let yourself receive it. Let yourself have a little joy and levity about it, whether it's been a challenging year or a great year or like somewhere in the middle, probably for most of us, right? Like, just like shake it out a little bit, get a little loose about it. That's what it is. The truth is true and all is well. That's how it feels right now. And now we're going to just drop back in and ask, like, what would create balance? Like, what would be really supportive, nourishing, healing, balancing for the other half of this year? What are you ready to receive in the other half of this year? And like, and really coming into honesty with like what actually would be the balancer to the first half. And so just notice, I'm going to do a little teaching on this, but just like notice what's there, dropping back into the body, relaxing the back of the body. Hey, good to see you, Russell. Just relaxing the back of the body. And it's just like, okay, what would be the balancer to what's already taken place this year? Not what I think needs to happen or was supposed to happen. What's actually the balancing energy to the next half of this year? And just notice if there's an image, a word, a sensation, just let it come up. Relaxing into that. Hi, Aaron. Opening the body and just receiving that. So we've checked in with like, what's the deal? What's the first half of this year felt like, been like? What have you received from it? And now we're coming into the second half. Like, what would be the balancing energy, theme, experience to what's already taken place? And just let yourself feel what that would be without having to know how to do it or get it. And just receive the energetic of that. Breathe that in. Beautiful. And feel those two energies, the first half of this year, the first 5 months of this year, what's already happened, the opening of the next half of this year and what could possibly happen, what would be balancing, and then just kind of let those two things converge, because that's the location we're in. We're coming into the center point of this year. And so just relax into that. Let yourself come into your heart and into the two halves coming together. Feel your feet on the ground. Just let it be grounded and relaxing. So you're getting some information from yourself. We'll come back into the energy in a moment. I just want to share a little something about that, about this idea of coming into the center point of the year, of really being in the reality of how this year has felt and what would create balance. Hi, Christine. So if you're just joining us, we're talking about coming into the center point of the year. So what's already happened this year and just being real with what that is, and then what would create balance and allow this year to feel like whole and cohesive and a really complete story of 2025. Of course, hopefully there'll be a story beyond that, right? And so it's kind of this moment of like filling what's empty, emptying what's full. And so for some of us, the first half of this year may have felt really fiery and really like we've charged ahead. We've been in a leadership position in a lot of places. We've like felt like we've made a lot of things happen. There's been a lot of responsibility. There's been a lot required from us. Like this may have felt like a fiery, charging year, right? And for some of us, this year may have felt more like we've had to be in total surrender. Like even if we wanted, hi Vanessa, even if we wanted this to be a fire, charge ahead year, it wasn't that, right? Like it may be that we've been in a year where we're just having to go with the flow. We have not felt in leadership. We've felt like we've been having to follow other things, other circumstances, other people, maybe our schedule. Like I call these sort of years, like sometimes we're just in a season of chop wood, carry water, where it's like, man, I'm just doing what's here to be done. And we have not felt like really in control, right? Like, so for some of us, we may have felt like, wow, I've totally been in control. And for some of us, we've felt like I'm not in control. I'm just on this ride. And so you'll notice like one side feels like fire, one side feels like water. And so a lot of clients I'm working with right now, like we're in that moment, right? Of like be really confronting this, the center point of the year. And also the reality that when we've been in a container of time, whether you're in a container with me as like a client or you're just in the container of 2025, like things have shifted about you, things have changed about you. And so something is going to take place called a change of relationship resonance. This is what I've always called it. And so I always tell clients, like, get ready, because when we start working together, you're going to have an experience at some point of a change of relationship resonance, which means like something that used to resonate, a way of being, a way of living, a way of doing, a way of having, may not feel on anymore because you've actually changed frequency and like this is not the right energy or the right way at this point. And so how we know we're in a change of relationship resonance is that we will stop being able to tolerate, right? Like we will lose our tolerance for something that may have really worked for a long time, or we may have been willing to deal with for a long time. So we're coming into this center point of the year, and it's either going to be a moment to have a shift change or a track change, I sometimes call it, to create balance so that we can keep going now and continue to feel regenerated and nurtured and nourished. And like, however we've been doing this year, we don't like drive it into the ground and become unbalanced, or we may be experiencing a change of relationship resonance where we've really up-leveled and changed our frequency about certain parts of life or relationships, and we just like actually can't tolerate anymore. And so how we begin to learn about that is just by having some space. So I find with people who have been charging ahead, and listen, like both ways are beautiful. There's a beautiful time to be in your fire, your leadership, your power, and just going. And there's a beautiful time to be in your flow and your surrender and just being led, right? Like neither thing is wrong, but we'll start to hit a point where like it's time for the shift change, oftentimes at the center point of the year. and it's time for that change of relationship resonance. And so we just give a little space, right? And so what I find, and I'm talking about this as a practitioner, when I give someone who's been charging ahead, or even a good friend, whatever it may be, a little bit of space, and they've been in the fire and in the charging ahead, and it's time to shift, what you'll typically find is tears, right? When we give a little space to someone who's been feeling like they're just doing it on their own, and they've been doing, and at some point that may have felt really good and badass, and now it's like it's time for them to be held. When we create a little space, we're gonna usually have some emotion. We may have some sadness, some grief. It may just be like the type of tears that come when you're just exhausted. And sometimes when someone has felt like they're doing things without support for a long time, or like they have to be the one to hold, there's almost like this calcification, like this armor that starts to come on, like this hardness that starts to come on. And so like we create the space to feel this, and we come into softness. We start to let the calcification soften and crack open. We start to let like the idea that everything is on us, like we start to let that go. We begin to remember what it feels like to be held. And then like oftentimes that brings the softness, that brings the tears, and that brings the water, right? Because when we've been really fiery for quite a while, it's time for the water and for the flow. And so you may be finding that like you're getting to a point in your year, if you're ready to shift tracks from being the one to forge ahead to feeling held and led, that you might allow some space for a little bit of softness and some tears. The other half, right, like if we're going to think about it as two types of people, like the other half might be that you've been in that chop wood, carry water vibe, and you've been feeling totally surrendered to your situation and just following what's going on. And there may be a point now where when we give a little space to feel how that feels, there may be a point where now actually what comes up is anger, right? Frustration, maybe even rage, and like constriction. And I'll give an example of someone I'm working with right now, who like, that's part of our work together. So he has this really amazing business. It serves a lot of people. It's been a very exciting, fulfilling thing to have his life's work be in service on this level for so many people. But like, it's really created a lifestyle where there's very little space for him, right? Like as just him being a person and getting to enjoy like the beauty of life and the fruits of his labor and all of those sort of things. And so I've really been encouraging little adjustments of how to have more space, and coming into the reality of wanting more space, like even finally allowing, like, actually, I don't want to work this many hours, right? Like actually for the greater legacy of sharing his work and teaching and having it, the ripple effect continue on so that it can serve even more people, it's time to create a little more space for that. And at first that felt really good. And then after a little while, it's felt really frustrating, right? Like he's actually been like kind of finally in some frustration and anger, and like the idea of creating the space has felt really hard. But that's actually beautiful, because he is someone who has not gotten to like have space for his anger. He's had such compassion and such a big heart and such understanding for the initiations that brought him into the work he does in his world, that like there hasn't been time to be angry or frustrated or connect with wanting more space for himself. And so like we realized this week, like this is you getting your fire back. So sometimes when we've been so compassionate and so surrendered and so in flow, we're doing our thing, but we've like kind of lost our passion for it, right? And so this is the beginning of getting the spark back. So oftentimes finding our passion again and finding our fulfillment again and our fire to charge forward and like really live life on our terms and in the way that really is true and right for us, like we first have to get frustrated. We first have to get pissed. Maybe not even about the current circumstances. It might be more like getting pissed about the origin story, right? Like getting pissed about the very beginnings of having to be so surrendered to things that felt out of control. And like, we're not going to live in either of these two states forever. If you've been charging ahead for a long time, it doesn't mean you need to cry for the rest of your life or feel, lose control and give it to somebody else. And if you have felt really in flow and you've moved from surrender to submission, right? Like that's what I say too. Like, we want to see if we've gotten so surrendered that if we've gotten submissive to life and have stopped asking. It doesn't mean that we have to stay angry for the rest of our life. This is just about bringing in the energy to the center point moment, to the change in resonance moment, to the shifting of the track moment, so that we create balance and we begin to shift into the next way, right? Into the next part of the story. So we're just going to take a moment here, because that's a lot of transmission, and just relax into that. So if we've been running the show, we might be ready to feel held. If we've been edging towards feeling burnt out or dried out, we might be moving into wanting water, softness, tears. If that's been you, just beginning to let in the frequency of a gentle running faucet. Or it could be a brook or natural water too, if you want. And just picturing putting your hand under the faucet or the water, putting your hand into the babbling brook. And just breathing in from the energy, from the picture of your hand in the water, some cool refreshment, some flow, some hydration. And we're just, if this is you, or maybe you're both things, and this is you, you're just relaxing into breathing in. It's safe. It's safe to let go. It's safe to let go. It's safe to let the momentum bring me. It's safe to stop paddling, just let the momentum bring me to the other half of this year. It's safe to want someone waiting for me on the other half of this year. It's safe to want someone to be there. And we'll just stay with that for a couple more breaths. I'm going to work with the energy of that. Feeling the arms and the shoulders begin to soften. If you have that calcification of I'm in the armor, I'm in the warrior, just letting that come down, letting the energy soften around the arms and the shoulders. Maybe making some sound or shaking if you can. Moving the wrists and the hands. Nice. It's safe to change tracks, bringing hands to the heart. It's safe. It's safe to trust. It's safe to trust in other leadership. It's safe to trust in other people's guidance. It's safe to receive. It's safe to be the receiver, not always just the giver. And we're just going to stay here for a few more breaths. Breathing in flow, cool, refreshing. Grief, melancholy, surrender, sweetness, beauty. Yeah. And just let yourself receive a message for you. If this is the balancing energy for you, receiving a message. You've got you. Yeah. Feeling the feet in the cold earth now, picturing putting your feet in like wet sand or cool earth or a warm bath, and just grounding with each breath, feeling your feet bringing in that flow, walking forward in refreshing flow. Hey, Mara. And so that was the balancing energy. If you've been charging ahead, overheating slightly, we're going to now bring in the balancing. If you've been really just surrendered, flowing, feeling a little submissive to others, feeling led by something that's like not in your control as much, like just feeling like I've maybe flowed a little too much. I'd like to bring in some balance, some fire, some grounding, some action, some feeling of my own leadership, my own sword. Now we're going to bring in that energy. And you're just going to bring in the image of sitting in ceremony in front of a beautiful, big, roaring outdoor fire. Just hearing the crackle of the fire and feeling the way your frustrations, your resentments, your confusion, as you exhale out here, it just gets transmuted by this big ceremonial fire. And let's stay here for a few breaths, breathing in the energy of this fire. As we were saying, like the spark may have been feeling like rage, resentment, frustration, so that we can really alchemize into passion, fulfillment, fierceness, strength. And so wherever we are, as we want to bring in the more fire, we're just breathing in the energy of the fire. As we exhale out, we're transmuting the soggy energy, the stagnant, the resentment without saying anything energy, bringing that to the fire, letting it transmute, letting it alchemize. I'm beginning to feel in your body like that strength, that form, that structure. And now, as we're in front of this fire, if you're just joining us, we're in a rebalancing energy practice as we come into the center point of the year, getting into connecting with the energy we've been in and now coming into the energy that's going to be right. And so we are in the energy. If we've been in a lot of flow, we've brought in a lot of fire now. And now you're just going to see your own guardian, angel, ancestor, guide, higher self, your own higher self in front of you with the fire. And they're going to be holding a crown. Maybe it's made of gold. Maybe it's made of beautiful crystals and gems. But just beginning to see like a strong, powerful headpiece that you're about to be crowned with. Just see it, breathe into it, feel it, breathe it in. Exhaling out, bringing that into your heart, and then bringing in this image of you being crowned. This crown coming onto your head as you becoming the strong, potent, powerful leader of your own reality for the next half of 2025. Letting yourself be crowned. Remembering who you are. Remembering this is your territory. This is your ground. Maybe even feeling the sensation of that on your head, relaxing into that. We're just going to hold here. I'm going to work with the energy. Just relax and meditate with this energy. Beautiful. And then and then you're just bringing in this this mantra, which is, it is safe for me to reject what's not working. It is safe for me to reject what I don't desire. It is safe for me to say no and to trust what is good for me is good for my territory, is good for the places in which I'm here to lead, in my relationships, where I'm leading, in my life, my health, my relationships, everywhere where I'm here to have leadership capacity, everywhere where I'm here to hold the territory, it is safe for me to do that. And so we're just bringing that in, and that's something that we've been working with a lot, like as we see the pedestalization dissolving for so much of the leadership that actually has been maybe not in total integrity. Part of what the process is of maturation is knowing that any teacher, energy, or practice that we're going to work with has to be big enough to hold our rejection. It has to, if something absolutely crumbles in the face of our no or rejection, that it's not for us. And so this is a pivotal moment, if we're ready to bring in more fire, to be comfortable with rejection, and it may not be forever rejection, right? It may be a sabbatical. It may be a reworking of something. It may be, I need to just go into the fire and see what's going to come out with me, and not feel like I have to grip to any one thing, and know that like what's for me will be on the other side. What's for me will be on the other half of this year. But anything that is powerful enough to hold us is powerful enough to hold our rejection. Anything that is meant to be in our life can hold that. And so we're just bringing in that energy, breathing that in. It's safe for me to reject something that doesn't feel right, that doesn't feel true, that doesn't feel like it's for me at this time. Breathing that in. Exhaling out, letting that loosen the head. Letting that come into the crown of the hair, the head, the brain, the eyes, the face, everything getting soft and relaxed and ready. Everything getting ready. Now just coming into your body, your heart. And we just feel, as we come into the center point, the energy of fire and the energy of water, and we just kind of bring them together. The fire not burning away the water not putting out the fire, but just these two energies and elements kind of coming together and grounding with you. May you have the perfect amount of fire. May you have the perfect amount of water for you. May you feel yourself as the center point of your year. May you feel yourself coming into the balance. And may you feel yourself as a lover of your reality. Can you become a lover of your reality right now? Breathing that in. Bringing that down the spine. Knowing that whatever we needed to clear, we've cleared. Whatever we've needed to bring in is with us. And I'm just sending gratitude to the Akashic field and to the guides and guardians, the technology, the energy, and everyone who is participating live and recorded with this experience. Feeling your hands in your mind's eye, putting it into the earth, and just having gratitude and thanking the earth for this life, for this practice, for this body, for these shifts, for the shifts in seasons that allow us to feel where we are and what's going on. Yeah, so thank you so much for joining me. It felt like a time, it's been like at least, it's been a little while since I've done a transmission on here. So it felt good. It felt like, yeah, we're coming into the center point and it's time to connect with that and what the next half of the year is about uniquely for each one of us, so that we weave a tapestry of the collective story. You're very welcome. That is really here and real, right? Like if we're all in touch with our year and our mission and like what's here for us, then like imagine how we can all move this year together when we're all really locked in with truth for ourselves. It creates a tapestry of collective truth in our like life experience, global experience. So yeah, that feels good. I think I will, I was just thinking I'd love to do a group thing in June. So we'll connect again to continue to drop into this solstice moment. But yeah, hoping you all have a wonderful day. I'd love to hear what you were feeling, like what the first half of this year felt like, what the second half of the year feels like it could be, and then like what it feels like to be in the center point and create that balance. And I'm always here if you want to send me a message or book some one-on-one time together. And that is all for now. So let's just drop back in. Feels nice and clear here. So yeah, we'll just talk again soon. Have a great day. Bye.